makes more sense for them just to go to the wrecking yard and take that 4.3 out and put a 5.7 in, because it's a lot better. And if you're going to build something out of one of those motors and you're going to build a stroker, you should build a 3.8 or something that big, so you'll have the extra torque and the extra power. It basically just makes more power everywhere. But we'll see that, because I'm going to go through that, because everybody knows how high RPM the 3-inch stroke does. We know that it'll rev forever because of that piston speed that everybody brings up. So that's what we're doing tonight. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you inside, and let's see, Houston, yeah. Jody Christensen from Houston. I just talked to my buddy Chad Reynolds. He's out in Texas too somewhere, and he said he was looking at snow outside. He said, yeah, it was 1 degree or something, and negative degrees for the chill factor. And I said, it's got all the way down to 66 here in California, so it's almost like sweater weather. I might have to put on my long shorts. It's actually very, very, very nice. What's up, Jeff? So did anybody guess from the thumbnail about what we have? And I purposely hid that because people would be looking in the background to try to figure out what new induction system I have on the TunePort thing, which we're going to find out if it makes any power. I want you guys to comment and let me know what you think. When I show it to you, we'll take, as soon as everybody's here, we'll take a walk in and I can show you what's going on. You guys can let me know if you think that this is going to work and how much power it's going to make and how high it's going to work and all that stuff. It'll kind of be a good conversation. So what do we got going on here tonight? Chris, my dream cars are 51 Cobra jets. Is there anything you would recommend a mild now run or with a more hotter motor? If you're talking about a 51 CD, like a 70 or 71, I think when I made those, I did a video. I know that I did the test on it, and I think I did a video where we upgraded one. We used the short block, and I think we did a cam upgrade on it, and we did an intake upgrade. The L block intake worked quite a bit better than the factory Cobra intake, and the cam that we did, a modern cam, obviously works a lot better than the factory Cobra Jet cam. And you have enough cylinder head if it's a 4V motor, so you have enough head there to make a lot of power. I mean, the heads that we had, both the Boss 302 and the 4V heads that we had, both flowed about 275, so that's more than enough for a ton of power. Zane, what size turbo would you think for a 5.3 with a 223, 226, 600, 600, 111, also long tube headers? Well, you're going to have to get rid of the long tube headers unless you're going to run the turbos through the long tube headers, which you can. But just tell me what kind of power you want. Whenever you're asking anybody about a turbo, know what power you want. Because the power is going to dictate what the turbo choice is, and then you can adjust and minor variants from there. I always use the same example that if you want a 500 or 600 horsepower turbo, it's a GT35, and if you want 1,000 horsepower, it's an S475 or 7875 from DS Racing. If you want something in the middle, the GT45 kind of fits in the middle, and there's obviously lots of other good turbos to choose besides those, but those kind of fit the span of where most V8 guys, and then if you're going beyond that, you can run twins or you can run big singles, and then that gets into the 4-digit kind of power level. Chicken fingers here. Still drop out with crazy ADHD, and you have my attention. Yeah! Maybe I need to stand on my hands and walk on my hands and do all kinds of crazy stuff. You're looking for around 6,700 wheel horsepower, so you're kind of right in that no man's land. You can't go to GT45, and an S475 is going to be good for that. An S475 or a 7875. We have a Gen 2, so that would be good. That's going to be over 800 or so at the flywheel. So that 7875 from DS Racing works really good.
Alvin Kamara, the ball carrier, taken down at the 43-yard line. A gain of 10 yards.
Rick, 5-4 double over cam with Coyote intake manifold. Shout out. 7 more makes the adapters. Oh, okay. I haven't run. I did a bunch of tests on 5.4s, but this is all way before Coyote. This is all pre-Coyote stuff. So we didn't have any adapters or anything. Adrian wants to give us a Force 2 valve for a Big Bang. West Tech actually has one that I need to put back together. But going to get one of those from the wrecking yard is easy. There's probably 100 of them over on the wrecking yard.
To the 49-yard line.
Yes, Karen, hit that like button. What's up?
First down,
Have you done any Pontiac mod block 78 to 79 400 T-car upgrade? I haven't. I have a Pontiac coming, but not unfortunately. It's awesome because it's a 57 and not a 77. But no, I haven't done any of those.
The tackle made at the 44-yard line. A gain of 5 brings up
Mike wants to know if 280 45s make more than 800. Yeah, they'll make a lot more. We've made 800 with just one of them. I mean, that's absolutely all of it, and I wouldn't recommend it. But you can do, 12, 1300 probably with 280.
A loss of 2 yards, and it's third down.
245 on a 408 LS. Yeah, that works too. If you have a good 408, which can easily make 550, 600 horsepower, and then you add 2 of those to it, you should have no trouble schooling. The 408 will work good. Jim wants to know what's your highest PSI. The highest whip I've ever run on purpose, I think, is the Big Bang motor, which was only 29 pounds. That's the one that did 1500, and we just ran out of map sensors. Let's see, John. Well, you had the video a few hours ago, and the results is there a turbo on it. So it's been a couple of hours since I posted that, so I should already have leaks on it. Yo, Matt's in the house.
Nick Chubb, the ball carrier. Joe Schobert
Matt
on
Mullen
the
and I go
tackle.
way back.
1 yard gain.
Way back
Brings up
Silver State
2nd
days.
and 9.
Matt's a heck of a driver. He drove with me out at an endurance race. That was awesome. I wish we could go do that again. You and I and Gary out there raging around. It would be fun. Chris wants to know if I build motors for customers or for fun. I don't build customer motors. I just put this stuff together for the dyno testing. Yeah, there's a guy making the Koenigsegg 3 valve motor on a Miata. That would be cool. Street Rat Garage, are there any limitations to running the Brawler cars compared to the Harley Classic? Take a look at the video that I did. We compared the Brawler to the XP carburetor, and the Brawler is actually... When we started doing the testing with the Brawler, we really liked it because it was inexpensive, and it always worked very, very well. And then since we started doing that, probably raised the prices on the Brawler. And that's what happened. They're doing the same thing at the wrecking yard. Maybe I should stop doing videos on it. But the Brawler works very well. It's one of the cars that I highly recommend. Alan, have you ever done a turbo Jeep 4-liter? No, but a Jeep 4-liter is on the list.
No gain on the play.
I'm debating a 228 or
the 47-yard line.
Trim for a daily. Is the motor all stock? If the motor's all stock, the T28 probably works. Jane wants to know how much power can a stock 6L80 with a 3,200 stall take. I don't know. Maybe somebody else can answer that. I'm sure that is that measured in boots?
Rosen's pass incomplete. Intended for Chris Godwin.
Yes, 24 Hours of Lemons with a real champion drive. I've driven in a couple of those races, and those things are really fun. I also did Motorola Cup and World Challenge and Bridgestone, and I did showroom stock. That's what I started doing in my Mustang. And Ace Sedan and Formula 2000 and lots of go-karts, obviously lots of cool stuff. I like road racing. Tony, welcome. It's new to the channel. Everybody's nice. Julius, every time you come on, you don't have to give me $1.99, man.
Fourth down.
But it's much appreciated.
Punt formation.
Haley, have you ever put a turbo on a GM V6? I have not. Not. Oh no, I take that back. I did. We put a. I didn't do it, but I helped the guy, a buddy of mine, Jason from JT Fab. He does a lot of welding for me, which you'll see some of his welding here. He had a 4.3 liter V6 that he turbocharged, and then I put a torque storm on a 4.3 liter V6. And we're about to put a turbo on the 3800 V6. So if that counts. Yeah, Tim, that turbo 4.3 liter is up on the channel. So if you want to take a look at it, that video is there, and so is the supercharged one.
The pass.
We're all doing good, good. So are you guys ready to go and see the super mods that I made to the Tune Port stuff? Andrew, I don't have a video on the torque stuff.
That's the end of the first quarter with no score.
Do you have much experience with the GM 60 degree V6? I've done one. We did a turbo on a 3400 way back and a Grand Am, but I think that's the only one I've done anything to. I have not picked up an LC1 yet. Zane, $4.99. Are you married? Yes, I'm married. And I met my wife, oddly enough, at a family reunion. So, here we go. We're going to take a walk in. I'm going to show you this. This is absolutely 100% the best way to improve fuel injection. In this case, it's a Tune Port motor. This will actually work on almost any form of fuel injection. So I came across this thing, it's like brand new, and I want to share it with you guys. I'm going to be running it tonight, and hopefully the video will come tomorrow on it. But since you guys are here, you live guys, you guys get a sneak peek on the Trick new up. Are you ready? Are you guys ready? Are you holding your breath? Trick new upgrade. Trick new upgrade on Tune Port fuel injection. Look! Ta-da! That's how you improve the power of Tune Port.
You block him, we can go somewhere.
What do you guys think? Is it gonna work?
My man is afraid of me, baby.
Finding out, all the details and what works.
What I'm calling that man defense you talk about, my boy. I'm waiting to see it. I'm trying to see it.
You see, what we did was weld a carb spacer on top of it. We obviously drilled the whole, hole sawed out, cut it with a whizzy wheel, and so you can see. Little turn there. And I even went to the trouble of kind of centering it and all the It actually should be. It would have been better.
I don't know what the fuck that was.
2 500 barrels. And maybe I'll have to do another one so that we could get them to take a look, so that we could get them even in these ports and then over in these ports. So if we could put one here and then put one over here, kind of in the center, that would be super cool. And just make a I maybe make a whole top different. This is super cool. Take a look at that. Tell me that's not the coolest thing ever. Whoa! And then for this, people are probably wondering, hey, what are you going to do with that? That's going to leak. I cut out
First and 10 at the 20.
I made a cardboard plate to cover it. So I'm getting ready to try to hook that up. I've got to run it with the Tune Port setup because I've got to run it with the carb that we ran in the video that I posted this morning with that Super L98 cam. The Tune Port, and then I'm going to try the carburetor and see if it works. So the way it will happen is the fuel injection is full control the timing. We're just getting the fuel for the carburetor. So I got my fingers crossed. I want to do a video on it so bad because it's awesome. It's going to be cool.
Say what?
Do a twin.
No.
For racing, you should do a twin starter with twin.
don't throw away nothing.
They work if you don't open the front blade. Yeah, those are plugged. Those have the block off plate, so those are not opening. But just in small, throttle mode. Get that extra airflow. Get the crossflow going. Yep, things you come up with when you can't sleep. Actually, I can't sleep. But I as soon as I saw this, I thought, dude, this is so cool. I've got to try that. Because, you know, unfortunately, I can't weld aluminum, so my buddy Jason over JT Fab, so you want some fabbing in this area, he's pretty good. He does lots of cool, the big super trucks that they race in the mud and stuff. It's crazy stuff. But he was able to do that, and it's pretty cool. Number one is Tim's idea. Yes, Tim wants me to cut a big hole and put a 671 on top of it. We can do that. Like I said, Freiberger just ran the one on the tunnel ram, so it would be a similar thing. But there's nothing saying that we can't blow through that with a cork drum or something. You know, you can, Glenn said, you know of anything that you can block the fuel injector holes with? Yeah, we use the injectors. The injectors are staying there in this. Yeah, Tim Taylor, yeah, I wish I had too much time on my hands. This is multitasking. Because now, for me, I got my fingers crossed, I just run the tune port setup, and it's all dialed in, and so I don't have to change anything with the timing, and then I just put the carburetor on, and we just disconnect the fuel, the injectors, and actually the feed line and the injectors, we just disconnect that, and we can run the timing and stuff with the computer, and hopefully the fuel supply goes into the port kind of the way that it's supposed to. We'll see.
At their 49-yard line.
Thomas wants to see 2 sets of runners. Actually, that was going to be my surprise to you guys. Is I figured out a way to run. It wasn't really 2 sets of runners, but it was 2 plenums. So the plenums would be side by side, and then the runners would go down, and then there's an extension going from the base out to those runners, and then a connection between the 2 plenums. So I wanted to do the dual TPI, because it's anything better than a single TPI, it's a dual TPI. But as we saw, this thing doesn't need more runner length. After seeing, I thought that the thing was going to be revving out to 5,500 or something and making power out there, but it didn't. And after it didn't, I thought, I don't need to add 5 or 6 more inches of runner length just to do this. It would be neat looking though, and it would have 2 throttle bodies, so that's certainly awesome. Let's see.
He was covered by Denzel Ward.
How am I getting all these bots? What do you do for your main source of income? Just because you have a badass garage. I don't have a badass garage. This is West Tech. I don't work here. I'm just here doing Dino Justice. And my garage is a mess.
Oh, come on. He hit stick way early.
Yeah, Julius, I saw the pic. Thank you. I sent you a response. That's cool stuff. Thanks for sending all the pictures of those intake manifolds. A few more videos on the L83. We have some stuff coming up. I'm going to go do some stuff with Brian Cooley Racing on the L83. They've done some cool stuff. LT3 motor. Caddy motor coming soon. Not the motor, but the blower. Yeah, we're going to run the blower on a full 8.
That's good.
When am I going to run it? When am I going to run what? This? I'm going to try to run this tonight.
1st and 10 at the 17-yard line.
Joshua wants to know if we're ever going to shoot a forgotten old Quad 4. I would love to. I wish I could have. I wanted the whole car when we were looking at it.
Brings up 2nd and 8 at the 15-yard line.
Richard, what kind of power can I get out of a stock 5.3 LS? Well, we did 1,300 out of the stock bottom end, so how much do you want? Yeah, man, I'm going to run that too. I have Dodge 440 stuff coming, and I want to run that the really, really long cross ram deal.
First and goal at the 5-yard line.
Street Rat Garage, can you put nitrous jets in place of the fuel injectors? I think it had what's called nozzles, and what they were a ring that the injector goes in, and then the nozzle also sprays fuel nitrous. And I ran those in my book on the modular Ford stuff, and they worked really well. We ran them on 2-valve off and a 4-valve, and I was wondering if they affected nitrous or fuel flow when they weren't being used, and because that was one of my questions when I saw the setup, and they said, oh, it actually worked pretty good. But you have to configure the nitrous nozzle. They're not usually the same size, so you have to figure that.
The extra point is good.
Steven said, I just ordered your favorite thing for my LS4. I'm hoping with that too, right?
Michael Dixon set to kick off.
I think there's 5.3 can track 500 horsepower with a really healthy camera shot. So I would like to see that. What do you think of a twin turbo, twin four cross ram setup? So you want to do a cross ram with 2 4-barrels and then twin turbo. You could do that. It's nice and symmetrical looking. It'll be a little bit more probably tuned. Thought it was ESI with an auxiliary car, hook up the charge too. Timmy wants to know, can you run 5.7 Vortex heads on the 4.3? No, because it's an LT1, so it's an LT1 motor.
Bad boy.
It has a different intake pattern, but it also has a different cooling pattern. You can do it, you just have to modify it.
You know, click on the user. When I turn that user, I'm a child abuser.
Josh Lambo lining up for the point after.
Niggas don't want to click on it when I'm on it.
Saying big cam and sockets. I want somebody to show me that. I want somebody to come here and show me that a 5.3, a junkyard 5.3, and put a cam in it with stock heads and make 500 horsepower.
With the score all tied.
Because I've not seen
Josh
it.
Lambo
And I've run,
for Jacksonville.
I don't know, 50 of them. Especially with the cam that you could put with the available piston to valve clearance in a 5.3. Not very much. It's not really very much cam shot. How come you were not at Daytona? If that's directed to me, I don't know that I've ever been there. Maybe when PRI was there, that may have been at Daytona.
Number 24, Nick Chubb, the ball carrier.
Yeah, Jeff. A friend of mine has a 1965 289 two-barrel that makes 500.
Wait on him. Wait on him.
What do I think of 180-degree headers and a twin scroll turbo? It's true, we should try all of that stuff. I don't know that how much of a benefit that's going to be. 180-degree headers are just problematic to make and to fit. They sound cool, but I don't know what kind of gains you're going to get from that. Because if I make an inexpensive, good-flowing rec cord head, a lot of different things. I know that they make a good rec cord head. I don't know how inexpensive it is. I don't know if they do like an enforcer head or whatever their low-dollar one is for the rec cord stuff.
That's good for a Cleveland Browns.
At the top of your head, what's the most you've gotten out of an NA53? You can get, we've got 500 out of them, but it
looked like he was over.
To do that.
We're going to rush him 3,500, 35, 40 times, baby.
2 yards on the
They sell a profiler head for a small box Chevy. I don't know if they have a small bore version of that. The only ones I've seen, and some other guys might know, I think Dart and Brodex had small chamber heads, small diameter for a small bore like a 305. The trick flows are the ones that the Super 23s are the ones that we always go to when we do a 305. Matt wants to know how much lift can you get out of a stock 4.8 liter with the factory bottom end and valve. It's not lift, it's actually duration. It's not how far you push the valve down. You have to push it way down to get into trouble. It's how long you hang it open for duration. Somewhere in the 230 to 235 at 50 on the intake. The exhaust you can run a lot. You run 248 or so depending on the LSA. And as you tighten the LSA up, you have less and less piston to valve clearance. So it's all juggling the numbers to get the thing to fit in the available piston to valve clearance. It's a lot easier if you have an aftermarket piston that has a valve open. Then you can kind of go crazy with camshaft. You put a really big camshaft in there and make lots of power. But with the available piston to valve clearance, even on a dish piston LM7, you're kind of limited.
The ball carried by number 39.
Carlson says I've tested death injection on Ellis. Yeah, we tested a lot. It doesn't work on a stock truck intake. The distribution's bad on all of those long runners. So it's not very equal. Mr. Gearhead, Richard, can you try the Speedway screw ram exhaust manifold? I haven't tried those. But we tried, if some of the crappy factory stuff that we've made, if that works, then all of the other stuff is going to be a step up from there.
That's all I want to see.
Coleman wants to know, I've tested Edelbrock and SLP two-foot runners.
That's what I want to see right there.
I tested all of the two-foot. That video is up. Take a look at the big two-foot test. And we tested SLP stuff, we tested CTIS stuff, we tested Edelbrock stuff, we tested SLP. Just everyone that was available, I think we tried, except as everybody points out, except for the first stuff.
Oh, come on, this whole... That's crazy right there.
Julius, I think Mahovich uses factory lifters on his stuff. Factory modular lash adjusters.
Alvin Kamara on the handoff. The stop made by Andrew Billy.
Yeah, Kylie, I agree that the 4.3 L99 has enough head now to make 500 horsepower. It just needs a camshaft. And in my opinion, and you guys can chime in here and let me know because there's some sharp people out there. In my opinion, this thing needs a dual pattern cam and it needs a much tighter LSA. So the cam I'm thinking about it is an XFI cam from Comp because we have one here, and that's maybe the reason that I'm thinking about it. I think it needs to be a dual pattern cam. I think it needs a tight LSA, and it needs more lift. It needs all of those things to make this motor happen. We've already shown that it likes lift. When we ran the first, it had a tight LSA, it was 109.5. It had much lower duration, but we also put the 1.6 roller rockers on it, and like the roller rockers, the problem with the rockers that we're using is they're an old stainless set, and they're very, very heavy. So they need a lot of valve strength to make them work, otherwise we get into valve tilt really early, and that's the problem is that as we put more and more cam in it, it's going to want to run more and more RPM, and then valve tilt becomes more and more of a problem if we don't get lots and lots of valve. Chris, yes, you guys are still in business. As a matter of fact, that reminds me, I need to give them a call. They're really good guys. I did a lot of stuff with them back in the day. Matt says, have you ever thought that Summit Racing's all-effect long tube intake? I didn't even know that they made it. I didn't know Summit had any intake. Ivan wants to know, do you port Gen 6 L29 heads? I know you hit 430 horsepower with stock heads. I wonder if it would be like unshrouding the exhaust valves, raising the exhaust runner, and cleaning up the valves. I think you could get quite a bit more out of those heads. They flow enough to support way more power than we made. So I know even without doing anything, there's more power to be had from that head. It just needs more camshaft. But again, like we were talking about with a 5.3, on a big block, on a Gen 6 big block, you're limited to how much camshaft you can put in with the available piston and valve strength. It's a little bit better with that head than it is if you put an aftermarket head on, because of the valve size. But when you put the aftermarket head on, it usually has a bigger chamber. And it has a different valve drop than the factory head. So a lot of times you can improve piston and valve turns with the aftermarket head. Sometimes. But the problem is, because I did that stuff, and we put a set of Rodex heads on in place of the factory head, and we lost a lot of compression, but we gained a lot of flow, just like we did with this thing. So we ended up picking up power, but we actually lost power down low from the compression, but we picked power up at the top from the extra head shell. So if we would have had both of those, obviously, it would be the best way. Julius wants to know, what about the cheap pressed steel rockers? That's what we did. We, on this particular motor, when I ran it with the carburetor and we ran it with the ported LT1 heads, I took the stainless steel rockers off and put the stock stamped steel rockers on. I used poly locks to hold them in place because those pinch nuts don't stay in place very well, especially after you use them a bunch. So we used poly locks to hold in place, and we did that, and that allowed us to get the RPM that we need all the way up past 6,000. I think we ran it as high as 63 or 6,400, but that's what allowed us to do it. The problem is that we lost lift in doing that, so I think there would be extra power to be had, especially with that particular camshaft. Because the camshaft that we have in it, that Super L98 cam, is only a 450 lift cam, and that's not enough. It needs to be like 550. On 10 pounds of grease, would you run a 1-bar mount sensor for better resolution or go to a 3-bar? Well, you pick the one in the middle. Just pick a 2-bar, and then you have good resolution. But since you're not going to stay at 10 pounds, you should probably put a 3-bar on it. And I'm speaking from experience. I should have put a 4-bar transmitter on mine when I ran it. The Ozman. Guys, if you're thinking about porting and shaving your stock blade, 706 or 862, buy the already 215. What is the 215? I know Trickle makes the 215. Or whatever you want, same price, but you get a good brand name if you buy an aftermarket head. A ported 706 or 862 head works really, really well. We've tested lots of them if they're done right, and not. I haven't seen guys that hand port them, and maybe they make them work too. But ours came from Total Engineer Pro. There's probably lots of other good guys. People have been porting them for years and years and years, so everybody knows how to make them work. That head works really well. On a 5.3, that head or the 6.05 head are the best heads I've ever tested on those small bore combinations. I obviously haven't tested everybody. This is obviously from a few years back. But those heads, because they're designed for small bore, work really, really well. And the 205, I think, is probably a good aftermarket alternative. And I think Tony Mamo now has a 205 also that's designed for small bore. So we might be some testing on that.
That's good for a Cleveland Browns. First and 10 at the 36-yard line.
Matt wants to know, going to run 800 to 1,000 horsepower with crank on an LSX truck motor. Also controversy on whether there's a huge difference between Gen 4 or Gen 3. There is a big difference in strength in the connecting rods. There's definitely a difference in that. There's also a difference in the block. There's a difference in communication. There's a difference in the head studs. There are a few differences. So the Gen 4 is definitely better. Our Gen 5 or our Gen 4 motor made 1,543 horsepower with stock bottom end and is still alive and has run hundreds and hundreds of runs under roof after that. So the Gen 4 stuff is definitely better. So don't let anybody tell you that it's not. That being said, we've run lots of stuff in that 800 to 1,000 horsepower on Gen 3 scooters, the 1,200 horsepower 4.8, the 1,300 horsepower 5.3, and the 1,482 horsepower 6-liter. were all really super high mileage Gen 3, and they all worked well. Right up until like on the Gen 3 6-liter, it exploded in spectacular fashion.
He's brought down at the 31. It's a gain of 2.
Brandon wants a cam recommendation for a 97 LT1. Somebody else might be able to answer that. I haven't run a lot of tests on that 350. Talk to Jim at TPIS, the guys at Comp. There's probably lots of good guys for the LT1. And the nice thing about Jim at TPIS, I obviously have some of his stuff, but he's been doing it forever. They've run literally hundreds and hundreds of those motors, and they raced them back with Myron and all that stuff. So they've been around those things for a long time. I know the lights are looking a little bit thin, huh, Julius? Have you ever tested an L-Rock ProFlow XT? I have not. I would like to. We've tested that style manifold on other things, and we kind of know what they do, but I haven't tested the ProFlow XT specifically on a small block shed. I have tested a TPIS mini ram. It's very similar, a little bit better than a stock LT1. And it's designed for short runners, so it's designed for high RPM.
It's now 4th down.
Is the running 5.3 with 300,000 miles too many for a swap? No, my truck has.
I gotta go to the bathroom fast.
I don't know, 80 or something thousand miles. I think I've got. Still runs perfect. And the Big Bang motors that we took out had 250, I think, and still, you know, we beat the heck out of them. Joe wants to know, he's a random question, is the fire damaged car, plastic intake is gone, is there any chance that the long block is okay? It might be. It just depends on, if it's an iron one, that's good, it's got aluminum heads on it, it depends on how hot it got. It can get really hot on some of those fires. Melting the plastic is not hard, but if it melted that thing all the way down, chances are it got very hot. I'd be worried about even some of the aluminum stuff. And obviously all the sensors and the wiring and all that stuff is gone.
The Jaguars take over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
Matt says, you preach ring gap very hard. The Gen 3 explosion was crazy. I've been reading 20,000 is sufficient for a gap on boost. Is this your recommendation? My recommendation is between 28 and 30. It's about 7,000 for each bore. But you're free to do what you want. That's what we run on the Big Bang motor, and it works just fine.
4 yards on the pickup. 2nd and 6.
Which LF can you get the most horsepower out of for $5,000? I don't know. 5,000 is a lot because you can do turbos on lots of space stuff. 5,000 is easily 1,000 horsepower. Probably more. Who can burn chips for L98 motors? I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen that. Thomas is a true undo cylinder heads. Yes, they've done lots of cylinder heads. As a matter of fact, I used some of their cylinder heads. If you go back and look at the tune port testing, we ported some of the heads.
I told you that boy bad, man.
On some of the L98 stuff that we did.
All you gotta do is tell him what you want him to do.
Pedro wants to know, when you tested the Gen 6 440, did you use the factory crank pickup? No, we didn't. We actually used a distributor. A hot mess. Who do you recommend speaking to regarding switching stock ECMs from different eras? I don't know. Maybe somebody else might know out there. What? Maybe at Tim, if you know, if you can answer that guy. If anybody else knows if somebody that's done swapping out the ECUs for different eras. I know that a lot of guys are upgrading from those throttle body computers because those are really, really slow and as notoriously bad. Kylie says, or Kyle, the first we need to go to 8,000. Got a long ways to go before we can get there. Because of all that piston speed.
Touchdown, Jacksonville.
Steve Relay's all good. He's obviously off on the weekend. He'll be here Monday. And Harley wants to stir up big block versus LT4, LS, and really heavy towing loads, 30,000 plus pounds. The big block is going to make more power than a 6-liter does, way down low. But at some point, the 6-liter is actually going to pass it and make more power. But for like 2,500 or 3,000 RPM, the bigger motor just does better.
The Browns take over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
GM, I am still doing videos on the Nova. I haven't done one for a little bit, but we got more stuff coming.
That's good for the Cleveland Browns.
Jeff wants to know V303 was Zeus. Yeah, we've run V303s a lot. Back in the day, we used to run with Superchargers. 10,000 RPM motor. Yeah, go see Ben over at EFI. Brandon, no, I don't have a turbo on my truck. It's all stock.
Nick Chubb, the ball carrier. The tackle made by Matt Ioannidis.
Tell them to grow a beard or a mohawk. A mohawk might be cool.
Yeah. Hitters, baby. Hitters. Hitters, baby. I told you. We gonna rock that nigga, dog. Once we catch him, oh, we gonna get him.
Gen 453. The ones that are in the Gen 453 are already good. Tim, we've been waiting for you. Nobody's been doing anything. We've just been sitting around waiting for you to get here. Yes, Matt, I do still have the 365. I don't have any plans to modify the truck. I'm kind of worried about the transmission, so I might be having to modify it by putting a new transmission.
I don't mind. Come on, let's cover 3.
Brings up 2nd and 1.
Pedro wants to know, do you know of any long run EFI intakes besides the factory Gen 6? Yeah, Mercury Marine has some stuff. Arizona Food Marine has the long runner stuff. Look at some of the GM even had a ZV572 or a 502, one of the crate motors with that long runner factory fuel injection, not factory fuel injection, but long runner fuel injection. It looked like a tunnel ram kind of with a lid on it and a throttle body, so that works pretty well too.
Waste his time, man.
Chris is building a 305 small block for 1984 Monte Carlo SS. Nice, respect.
What up?
Also awesome. You should do a can, at least small.
Hey, man, you see how I do when I use her shit, man. I'm out there. Even that first down, that's all. He gonna leave it up to the computer? All right. Oh!
The pass complete to Marquise Goodwin.
Hey, man.
A gain of 11 brings up 2nd down at the Browns' 46-yard line.
Hey, man. I go up for mine, man. When you want to use your own computer, I'm going to take that, man. I can't pass that up. I can't pass that up. Oh.
The pass complete to
Marquise
Goodwin.
This cover 3, man. I was like, oh, easy
gain on the
day.
play.
Oh, man.
1st down, Jaguars.
Hell no, you can't do nothing with that, man. He too much, man. He a beast. What you mean I can't do shit, man? You in cover 3, man. What you want me to do about that?
The pass intended for Marquise Goodwin. Incomplete. It's 2nd down and 10.
What was you shut down, man? I don't understand. You gotta explain to me what you were shutting down. You gotta tell me what you shut down. I need to know. No, it wasn't luck. I went for that. Now the catch, I think after like what was it? You can't have me tomorrow. Come here. Oh baby! Yeah, but the catch, I went for it. I use all those catches. Now he's lined up now he broke tackles, man. What you want? I don't know what to say about that. I just kept going. I didn't do listen, I did no beaters on you. No beaters. Cause I was like, oh, he gonna come out. You want to come out in man? Alright. And then you didn't. I was like, oh, cover 3, easy. He gonna take it slow. I take it slow. I was letting you get the little crossers. I was like, you didn't do some of your shit, man. I thought you was gonna do. I was waiting, and I'm like, where's that formation that he does? I didn't know what it was, but I know that close. I'm waiting for that close formation. Oh yeah, let me see what happens. All right, I'll jump Jackson. I don't know how tall he is, but I high pointed that. Boom, and then Sawyer, who's not a good tackler at all, drug him off me, and I was gone. I didn't mind the cover 3 that she was playing. I was like, oh damn, shit. That was a dink and dunk. Yeah, when I caught that over your guy, that one-handed catch, that 50-yard catch. Hey, that one pass I threw, like, across the middle, I was in trips. I motioned him out and threw across the middle. I thought that was 3rd and 26. And I was like, oh, I was getting ready to punt it. Like, oh, okay, I didn't get it. And that shit was a first. I said, dang. Goodwin caught that pass. Oh, that wasn't good. Hey, man, it's just one game. You still leading. Yeah. Who you play next?
Big G.
Oh, there you go. Oh, my general manager got something to say. That'll do it. That win punched our ticket to the postseason. The number 1 seed is still up for grab, so let's stay focused and play hard for the next few weeks. Okay. All right.
That shit's annoying, dog.
Hey, but then Hunter was doing his stuff. Get Myles Garrett. I think he had a sack on me. That's gonna put me 3rd and 22. And I had looked up. I seen him, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep. And I looked downfield. By the time I looked back down, he was sacking me. I said, shit. This motherfucker, whatever his name is on the other side. This motherfucker on me. My goal was 3 touch. Did I get 3 touchdowns? Yep, 3 touchdowns. That was my goal for the game. 3 touchdowns. It said 2, but I said I think I get 3.
You did a pretty good job on containing that run too.
I had to focus on that. I know she was trying to beat that press, but I kept motioning him. I was like, oh, okay. I said, all right.
Y'all see you switch from that by that man, you would have changed it.
No. I didn't have it by man. I didn't do nothing.
They stopped following.
Well, I think on one of them because I was in the zone, but I didn't do by man because I remember last time I played you, it did that, and it was fucking up the AI shit. So I was like, I'm just gonna leave it.
If you do it by that, I know I'll catch you off guard quick hike.
Yeah, and when you hike it back over there, nobody be over there, just him. And he hit me for a streak deep. I said, oh man, I ain't doing that shit no more. I'm just going, hey, my quarterbacks. You saw Henderson. That nigga jumped that shit. He said,
that nigga did, dog.
You got a good lot of good receivers anyway, so it's gonna be hard to shut down everybody. That's like on the corner. I'm just trying to see like, okay, why does he keep getting beat?
That's what I said. I said, you know what? He got all these receivers. I'm gonna have to try to take. I'm gonna have to take the underneath route because it take longer for the ball to get to you deep. So it give me a chance to run up under. So I said, I'm gonna take the underneath away and make him throw it over me, so I can click on and possibly get it myself. I still don't know how they let you. I just don't get those two catches.
It's a big man right there.
I just don't, man. I was just like, wow. And that was on 4th and 8. You know that, right?
Which one?
That one-handed catch.
Oh yeah, I was trying to beat you at. Oh.